crisscross, pulling floss, needle thread from black to red, pink, navy green, and in between, snuggles my brain. I'm Stitch Me Sane, and welcome to my Flosstube channel.
Hello Flosstube, my name is Carla and this is my channel Stitch Me Sane. Today is Wednesday, the 7th of June here in Melbourne, Australia, and the weather is pretty dismal, although it's not freezing, so I don't have great light today. It's been a little while, Flosstube. Welcome to my channel if you're new here, and welcome to any of my already existing subscribers. I actually filmed a video to upload before I went to my very first retreat and unfortunately deleted it because I didn't have enough storage on my phone. I couldn't bring myself to film another one for a couple of weeks because I wanted a little bit more content and not having to repeat myself. So here I am today. I'm sorry it's been a little while. I have lots to show you. And as I said, I've been on my very first retreat. So today might be a little longer than usual. As I said, if you are new here, I talk about cross stitch, my love of it, my love of all things cross stitching. So if that's not your thing, perhaps move on. Otherwise, get some stitching, sit back, and I really do have a lot to show you. Just to give you a bit of a heads up, people, this is the pile. And it's actually quite a heavy pile when I just picked it up, but I think there's roughly about 20 whips that I want to show you that I've been working on. And I know I mentioned in my previous video, Flosstube number 10, that I was going to do a 6-month whip parade. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen today, but looking at the pile, it's not far off. Okay, maybe about half. I also mentioned in my previous video I started working full-time again, and also that was in a role that was actually a promotion. It has smashed me these last few weeks, and I am not going to do a whip parade. But look, stick around because I do have a lot to show you, and lots of plans coming up for June, a few little bits and pieces that I picked up at the retreat. And I absolutely will be committing myself to a whip parade, a full whip parade, come the end of the year in November. And that will be my 1-year Flosstube anniversary. So I do apologize. However, today will be fun regardless. So let's get started. You may recall that during the month of May, most of this video is going to be a bit of a recap on my month of May. I kicked off a bit of a personal challenge with my friend Barb for a Stitch Brat on Instagram to do 200 stitches on a Carolyn Manning piece every single day. Whilst I didn't actually accomplish that goal because a few things cropped up in the month of May, which we'll get to, I really did a pretty good job. And I have some numbers for you, and I have lots of Carolyn Manning pieces to show you today. I think I am, I really want to finish on one or two before I kick off on another. Having said that, I do have another CM planned for June. But I guess the aim of this 200 a day challenge was to really get some solid progress on my already existing pieces. So we're going to start today with Carrot Cake. It's probably a piece of mine that's familiar to a lot of you if you follow me over on Instagram, Stitch Me Sane. I do post it, and I posted it fairly recently. So, disclaimer, if I have pictures of before shots, I will put them up here, but I'm not going to reference them every single time. This is what it's going to look like when it's finished, and it's just glorious. And I'm working on it on an 18 count. I think this is like a natural 8er and 2 over 1, so 2 threads over 1 square or hole. And this is where we are at now. I have completed almost every corner. I hope the light is working for you. It's working for me, and this looks so good. So I added, what did I add? 1.4 thousand stitches, and I'm now at 44.95% in total on this piece. They're not small, they're 35,000 stitch count and they're full coverage, but they're mindless stitching. So I've actually, as I said, pulled in each corner, and well, nearly, I've still got a little bit up here to go. And then I'm going to continue to work from the inside and get some color completion. So complete these browns, these darker browns that run all the way around the border. So that'll be my next aim once I officially complete that last corner there. So yeah, this is a Carolyn Manning design, and I started it a few years ago now for a sale, birthday dessert sale. There's already been a few glorious finishes on Instagram. So that's my kickstart for today on my Manning May pieces. That one is Carrot Cake. Next, this is the very first Carolyn Manning that I started, and I started this one on a 14 count Aida 2/1. It's called Dragonfly, and I added 1,148 stitches. This is what it's going to look like when it's finished. It's like a kaleidoscope to me, you know, those toys from when you were little. This one I'm actually stitching a little bit differently in terms of the method. So I pulled in the corner, the bottom corner there. But then I got a little bit like, I've seen a few people on Instagram stitching the diamonds first sort of method. So I've kicked off doing that, and I really, really like it actually. It's quite fun, so I can then go in and fill it in. This one's a really good example of the difference in, I guess, the size of the pieces between the 18 count and the 14 count Aida. As you can see, Carrot Cake is, you know, quite a bit smaller when you look at it there side by side. So for all of you that are considering starting a Carolyn Manning, that gives you an idea on size. I know a lot of people also like 16 count and 20 count. You can do them on whatever count you like. That's the beauty of them. So I'm at 47.12% now on Dragonfly, and I'm really happy with the coverage on the 14 count. The only thing I think I'm a bit hesitant to do another one on the 14 is the size of it. I just prefer them a little bit smaller because I've got so many. And I'm still not 100% sure what I'm going to be doing with them, so some consistency in size would be nice moving forward, and I really do enjoy the 18 count. So that one is Dragonfly, and I'm going to continue on the diamonds first method and just sort of keep chipping away at it diamond by diamond. Anyone stitching one of these shooting stars will know that they're 41 stitches, particularly if you're on Pattern Keeper. For any of you that don't know, Pattern Keeper is the, you know, revolutionary app that you can get on Android devices that basically keeps track of all your stitching for you. Highly recommend it, and it has really changed my stitching, that's for sure. I was chatting to quite a few people about it at the retreat. I'm going to keep mentioning the retreat, let's get real. I had such a good time. So whenever it crops up, I'm just going to mention it. In fact, I worked on Dragonfly at the retreat, and there were so many people working on Carolyn Manning pieces. It was so much fun. If you've seen my Instagram post, I actually posted a picture of a bit of a little Carolyn Manning cult, if you like. That's what we're sort of calling ourselves there. The next one I want to show you is familiar to most of you. It's my travel piece, Unicorn. This is what it's going to look like when it's finished. And I'm stitching it as 4 separate pieces, one each for myself and my 3 daughters. I'm working on one in particular at the moment. I've actually taken it off the hoop, so I'll just neaten that up. It really is untidy. It's such a small piece. I'm pretty sure I have a picture of this one. This is where it was at last time. And I have added 1,577 stitches to now be at 44.28%. I always look down. I have notes. Keeps me on track for these videos. This one's on a 20 count, 2/1. Look at that. So I've really brought in that center there since last time. I'll bring this one in a bit closer so you can see the intricacy This is one of the Tent Maker Smalls. And as you can see, it's not as straightforward as the Shooting Star collection pieces. There's a lot of finer detail in these ones, which I think is why I selected it, because it just provides a little bit more of a challenge. And yeah, this is my travel piece that I just take with me everywhere. I've really never worked on it inside my home, which is pretty cool, to be at 44% now on it. Obviously not this particular piece, that's the overall piece for all 4 of them, so 44 on all 4. But I'm going to continue working on this one, I think. See if I can get a little mini finish. I'm not far off, bringing in that square there. Now that I'm working full time and going back into the office again, I work in the city and I've got a 30-minute train ride in and then a 30-minute train ride out. And if I get a seat, I furiously stitch away. Yesterday morning it was actually a little bit dark, so I was grateful for the lights on the train. My way in, I had an early start. So that one's Unicorn. I love that one. It's kind of tracking pretty regularly for a 2025 finish though, if I keep, you know, using it as my travel alone piece. We'll see how we go now that I'm on that train a little bit more. Oh, okay, next one was a new start in the month of May, just to add to my growing collection of Carolyn Manning designs. This one I started with my good friend Barb at Stitch Brat Instagram. You must check out her account, she's fabulous. Her stitching is just beautiful. So this one is Grandma's Lilacs. Look at those purples and greens. When I posted it, I did indicate to everybody that purple is my favorite color, so this one seemed fitting to get cracking on. I went with an 18 count 2/1, and this is where I am at now. I added 1,000 stitches, I believe. Yes, exactly 1,000 stitches, which is my sweet spot for a bit of a progress update. So I went for a center start again, similar to that of Carrot Cake. I really like the center start and kind of growing it from the center. Barb started in a different spot, so that's nice. We get to see different parts of the piece take shape. And I'm at 2.8% now. So yeah, I really like the 18 count. Just bring that in a little bit for you to see. Look at those colors, they're just so pretty. I hope the light's working. So this one might go on the back burner for just a little while I pull in perhaps Carrot Cake and Dragonfly for a finish this year. Can't believe I just committed to saying that on here on Flosstube. That was a bit silly of me, but hopefully. So your encouragement would be, you know, amazing on those 2 in particular. Oh, this one I worked on at the retreat with my now in real life friend, Emily from Stitcher Aussie M on Instagram. It was so good to meet people in real life. And we started this one, Carnival. Well, she almost finished it at the retreat. Oh, it just looks so good in person. And she did finish it just after the retreat when she got home. And if you follow her on Instagram, those photos do not do that green fabric justice. She stitched it 1/1 on 20 count, which I really quite liked. I'm very, very much behind. In fact, I've barely even started. So congratulations on your beautiful finish, Emily. It's just stunning. This one's Carnival. I'm getting a little bit carried away here, showing you my pieces before I've showed you what it even looks like when it's finished. This is it. It's a little bit smaller than the Shooting Star collection. It was one of the first ones, I believe, that were released in this sort of style of Carolyn Manning's. And I put in 1,005 stitches to be at a total of 3.65%. Look at those colors. So I worked on these darker browns at the retreat and popped in a few stitches. I did try to work on quite a few pieces there so that next year I could show people some solid progress on those pieces in particular. So this is actually like a rustico Ada or an oatmeal, I believe. It's a little bit more fibrous than the Carrot Cake fabric, but still an 18 count. I'm actually missing a few colors. in this particular piece, which is probably why I'm stitching a bit all over the place, but another center start. And yeah, really looking forward to making some more progress on this one. It is different to the Shooting Stars again in the sense that the final piece has 4 different panels, whereas the Shooting Star collection repeat themselves because they're very symmetrical, whereas this one's not entirely in terms of the colors. Okay, the next one I'm going to show you is a little bit different, but my final Carolyn Manning for the day. And I started this one at the retreat. I really wanted a new start there. And Barb has also started one of these ones. Hers is called Garden Glass, I believe. Mine is called Stained Glass, and I have found myself a really nice piece of 20 count charcoal Ada. Here's what it's going to look like so you understand why I went with the charcoal. I don't usually stitch on coloured or fancy fabrics. I'm primarily a full coverage stitcher, and it doesn't particularly matter. This one in particular though, that border is not stitched, so the fabric is definitely going to come through. And yeah, I really like the charcoal to get that stained glass look. So this is where I'm at now. Oh, hang on, let me fold it over because the light shines through on these darker fabrics, so that'll make it look a bit, yeah. So I went for a center start again. That's my favorite. And I was going to do all of the black outline first, but my daughter, my youngest daughter Fleur, suggested going square by square. So I've kind of gone with that and put in some 3808 to see what it looked like. But would you look at that? This piece. I really hope to bring this one back to the retreat with some solid progress, some completed squares, because it is going to look phenomenal. This needle minder, I also bought at the retreat from Ginger Stitch AU. You can find them over on Instagram. Sometimes I stitch rather slow like a snail, so it seemed appropriate. Love a good slug. Oh, you really just can't see that unless I bring it in. So this one, yeah, as I said, is a 20 count. This is as small as I go in my fabric count with 2 threads. Anything higher, 25 count, for example, I go 1 thread. But after seeing Emily's Carnival on the 20 count 1/1, thinking maybe I might have to try it. It looked really fabulous. Okay, so that was my CM200 for the month of May. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm on a bit of a personal mission, as I said, to get some finishes. So I'm also this month doing what I'm calling a CM100, just to make it a little bit easier. I found the 200 quite challenging every single day last month. So 100 is definitely achievable, and we all know what 100 stitches does daily on a piece. So you will see some of these again cropping up on the regular. All right, enough about Carolyn Manning designs. What have I got for you now? This one's a little interesting actually. Let me show you what the finished design is going to look like. I did reference this one. I was going to start it. It was for a sale 2x2 on 22. I think I haven't even posted my start. It was eCrafting Colorado, and I'm so sorry. This one's taken me a little bit of time to get used to. So I'm going with a navy fabric, and this is my very, very small start. This is actually a 25 count 1/1, and I had a really good idea to use multiple different shades of cream and try and get a little bit of a sort of textured look, if you like. That's it. That's all I've done. This is something that I do want to work on in June and wrap my head around exactly and nail down exactly the cream threads that I'm going to use. I probably just want 3, honestly. And get some progress on it. I'm really enjoying working on the darker fabrics. I know a lot of people have trouble with them, but good light and it works for me. And I've never done a 25 count piece like this. So I'm really looking forward to, yeah, to making a bit more progress there. I'm just using one thread, as I said earlier. And that's such a cute little needle minder. That came from JK's, I think, in one of my orders. She often provides beautiful little needle minders. Okay. We'll see more progress on that one hopefully soon. Okay, next one is a bit of a personal favorite of mine. If you go back through my previous videos, you'll see the collection of these kits that I have accumulated now. It's a bit of a challenge actually, I'm really enjoying it. They're the DMC Australian Architecture Design Kits, I think they're called. Bit of a mouthful. I'm not going to actually say the cell name, I always muck it up. So this is the cell. Stitching it with Barb and a whole bunch of other people on Instagram. These houses are looking amazing and I really need some more progress on mine. It's actually a part of my Wheel of Stitches convo a little later, so bear that in mind. So I went with Queen Anne as the very first one for myself to stitch, and I'm going on an 18 count Aida 2/1. I actually kitted this one myself. This particular one only came in the chart. Actually, I should really show you that. So here's the chart. So they're really nice charts, I must say. Like, I've actually got my working copy in here as well, but it's like a little folder almost. Look at the detail in this, in the fence, in the back stitching. They're small, but there's a lot of work. There's some French knots over here in the purple, which I'm avoiding like the plague at this stage. So yeah, the Olga Gostin kits. I'm not actually 100% confident on how many there are that have ever been produced. It's a bit tricky to sort of get a handle on the numbers. There's 2. So I just keep an eye out on, eBay and Facebook and places like that and hope to see a few more crop up. So here's my progress so far. Actually, I might wrap that around again to help with the light situation. Here's my progress on Queen Anne. So I've actually just worked a little recently on, don't know if you can see that white, but I have started the fence here, and a few flowers. That's where I recently worked. So I'd really like to get a little more progress on this, which I actually will this month. So much terracotta in those bricks, let me tell you. And then that blue is a tent stitch. That's actually a half stitch. Yeah, really nice. And as I said, if you check out the hashtag on Instagram, wow, some of these pieces coming together are amazing. Okay. I don't even think we're halfway there, if that's giving you any idea of how many pieces I actually worked on since I last spoke to you. Okay, next. Oh, this one's a bit exciting. I haven't shown this, I don't think, probably since my very first Flosstube video, maybe. It's something that I want to really, not necessarily finish this year, but get some steady progress on. It's Pandemic. Long Dog Samplers. It was released free in 2020, I believe, which is when I jumped on the bandwagon. Stitching it with my mum, and my mum's already finished hers. I actually have it, and I've promised myself that I'm not going to show hers until I've got mine to show side by side. They are phenomenally different pieces. Our aim was to use our stash only at the time when we were kitting them up. It was during the pandemic, and we thought it would be fun to only have access to our stash threads and see what masterpieces we could come up with. So this is where I'm at. I'm stitching on an 18 count Aida, so it's rather big, and I truly didn't put in a whole load of progress, but I did touch it, and I am now at 57.18%. So I might need to actually back up and even stand up to show you where I am at here. Okay, we're going to have to come in so that you can see the colors and the motifs a little bit closer here. I really love stitching those cherries. And then the ribbons, so I call these pieces here, I call all of these ribbons. I haven't changed anything, and I have backstitched as I have gone. The backstitch doesn't come up on Pattern Keeper, so I also have a working paper copy for that. This ribbon here is actually one of my favorites. I had so much fun stitching that one. Where else are we? I love the way there's motifs with the negative space in them. They're so much fun to stitch, like these little deers. Yeah. So still a fair way to go. Just got to keep at this one. I mean, so many people have finished this. And there's so many different variations of it. I just love watching long dogs come together and the creativity that goes into them. Okay, so that's my pandemic. Oh, very big. It's like a blanket. I don't know what I'm going to do with it when it's finished. But I love it and I can't wait to work on it more. We'll come up again in my Willow Stitches conversation. Ooh, it takes a bit to fold that baby. All right, let's get into Willow Stitches. So for the month of May, Angie selected Farewell to Anger. I spun 1%. It was going to be a challenging goal. I made it. This is my Haid, my very first Haid, and it's max color, 238 colors. Everyone probably is familiar with the piece. This is what it'll look like, by Leonid Afremov. And I made it. I put in 2,560 stitches for 1%. I'm now at 5.72%. I'm just moving my threads away to show you. I have a lot of park threads on my full coverage pieces for those of you who are new here. And that's the way I stitch. Do it your way, people, is what I say. There's so many different methods out there and you just pick what works for you. This is a 25 count 1/1. Look at this, will you? I'm so proud of this one. That was actually, let's bring in this max colors so you can really appreciate the detail that goes into a max color Heaven and Earth Designs piece. So it's big. The stitch count is 257,000, I think. Look at those tree branches just really coming in now. And then as you move back, you can see that detail. I actually got a little bit of pink up here. I was pretty excited to add that in. Oh, and I still don't have a page finish. But when I posted it, as I said, it was either a page finish or hit that 1% goal, and I hit the 1% goal. I tried to get this lamp to sort of, it's very tricky to, you would not believe how many different colors are in the top of this bit of the lamp. Thank you, Angie. I had so much fun working on this, and I'm really proud of what I achieved. Farewell to Anger. Just to give you an idea, I've got it folded for you nicely, but she big too. I'm gonna need a much, much bigger house in probably 20 years. Dylan, you listening? We might need to grow it. Big, big. Okay, so my other Wheel of Stitches spin was Alice in Wonderland, selected by Alicia at Adventures of Stitching. Both Angie and Alicia have really good floss tubes. Highly recommend you check them both out. And what did I spin? 1%. So it was a much more accomplishable goal than Farewell to Anger at about 400 odd stitches. I'm actually going to show you, this is what it's going to look like. It's a piece by Dona Stitch. I actually have a lot of these pieces. It's part of a collection, the Disney collection. I also have The Little Mermaid on the Go. Haven't touched her in a while. Should really pull her out. But this is where I'm at now. This is a 28 count 1/1 linen. And I've started with just the outline on the 3808, I think it is, or maybe even 3810, I can't quite recall now. You can see where I made a really big mistake over here on the side that I had to frog last time I worked on this. Don't mind that, it will be stitched in because most of these pieces are kind of full coverage almost. But look how teeny tiny these stitches are. Really got to count. And that's where Pattern Keeper comes in very handy. Barb's also stitching on this one. We've got a sale going, Everything Alice sale. Feel free to jump on if you're stitching any type of Alice in Wonderland piece. So thanks, Alicia. I'm really pleased that we got a little bit of progress on this one, and we're at 5.38% in total. I'm really enjoying working on the linen. This linen, I had a really big piece, and so I've got quite a lot of whips on this particular piece that I'm slowly chopping up. I'm just going to pause for just a sec. Sorry, I needed to locate a particular chart that I wanted to show you for the next new start that I recently had. I just posted this one on Instagram. I was really lucky enough to find this one secondhand on Facebook. And they're really hard to find now. I mean, this one was released in 2011, and it's The Lion King, the Thomas Kincaid Disney from the Disney Dreams collection. This is the bigger sized one, and it is deceiving. It's got a lot of back stitching and a lot of filament blended, a lot of blends, a lot of tweeding going on in there, which is where you get one color of thread and another different color of thread, put them together and stitch your X's with two different thread colors. And the effect of that tweeding or blending, whichever way you prefer to refer to it, just has such an amazing effect, particularly on full coverage pieces, in my opinion. So yeah, there's a lot of people stitching so many different variations. There were a lot of these kits released. There's smaller ones, there's bigger ones, of lots of the Disney cartoons. This one in particular is I'm fond of because I used to watch this movie a lot when I was little with my sisters and brother. So I didn't get a whole load in. It's on an 18 count 8er, and it's actually really nice soft 8er. It's quite lovely. This is where I'm at. You can see that I've already started a blended thread in there, if you can see that effect, and a little bit of the tree coming in. I went for a corner start on this one, I think because, as you can see, the fabric was quite small. I had really little margins to work with. I wanted to use the kit fabric, so I thought a corner start would give me an idea of what I was playing with. I called this one a bit smaller than the rest, so hopefully we'll see a bit of progress take shape on. Oh my goodness, I was just showing you the wrong way. Oh, did you want to see my back? Because I just showed it to you for a while. Okay, Lion King. I love that one. Oh, okay, so we have reached my wow segment. For those of you who are new here, I have a Stitch Me Saying wow hashtag going on Instagram. Anyone who wants to join in, there's a whole stack of people now working on some phenomenal pieces. Seems to be my favorite word of the day, phenomenal. Thank you to everyone who's jumped on board so far. They just look incredible. Essentially, it is any big full coverage piece that you might be stitching on that represents strong, powerful women. And that's your own personal interpretation. I have quite a lot going on now because I'm doing a wall. So the hashtag is Stitch Me Saying wow. And generally on each of my videos, I will do a wow segment where I show you the female images that I've been working on that fit, in my opinion, this particular idea that I've come up with. So to get started, I think, yes, you have seen all of these but one. there was a new start in here. And generally these are my bigger full coverage pieces. What I've shown you already are probably more of my smaller pieces. And I tend to divide them like that in my head, my bigs and my smalls. But most of my wow pieces are over 100,000 stitches and all full coverage. So the first one is Yes. Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Marta Dalick. I'm stitching it on a 25 count 1/1 Lugana. And this has actually also got Chronic in it as well around the pig and some of the floor space. So this is where I'm at, and I've been working on the pig. I've actually put in 1,066 stitches and a total of 12.48% now. Just trying to get it so that it's looking neat and tidy for you. Okay, that's where I'm at now. Ooh. So if you can see, the pig's head is coming in under the red box down there now. And you can see her face and her hair taking shape. I'll bring it in here so you can see a little of the detail. There's her face. And those boots were so fun. I kind of kick-started with the boots. And that scarf, oh, the pinks and the purples in that scarf were just amazing. So here we have the pig's head, and you can see there's a bit of Chronic already taking shape in there. This one is also pretty big. It's nearly 200,000, but that's where I'm at. So we're up to 12.48% now. And I think this is actually, I think maybe one of my full coverages that has the most progress, actually. One of my bigger ones. I love this one. It's so much fun. I actually showed it at the retreat. I was lucky enough to meet Kelly from Animal Stitches, and I showed her this piece. So it'd be really nice to get some solid progress. And if you're at the retreat next year, Kelly, I'd love to show you again. I was also, sorry, my needle minder keeps clicking. I was also lucky enough to see, for any of you who do watch Kelly, her firefly piece in real life. She had it on the brag table. I took a photo of it and posted it on Instagram because, wow, I couldn't stop staring at it. It is amazing. So yes, I was fangirling a little bit. Kelly, thank you. All right, next one on my wow today is Paradise Found. This one I started on my 40th birthday, and I'd really like to have it finished for my 50th birthday. This is what it looks like. Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork is Janelle Nickel. It's big, 262,000 I think. And I put in 1,008 stitches for a total of 3.57% now. And this is where I am at. This is a 25 count Lugana, and I'm stitching it 1/1. So you can see the detail in this one is just really fun. I've already brought in a flower that you can see, and I'm going to run along the top and complete the rest of that sort of lacy look is what I'm calling it. To get to her hair, I'd like to see her actually start to come in a little bit. This one doesn't come up as nicely on camera as it is in real life, I don't think. So I'm hoping to fill in a lot of those little ninja stitches and get a little bit more solid appearance so that you can appreciate it as much as I am in real life. Yeah, it depends on where the light sits as well. Okay. Next up we have Enter the Void by Unconventional Cross Stitch. I've shown this one quite a lot on my videos in the past. This is what it's going to look like when it's finished. I started this one after I returned from a trip to South Africa last year and was rather inspired to start this one. What did I do? I only put in 437 stitches. I did work on her at the retreat as well, which is one of my faves, so I took her. 11.66% we are at. This is 25 count Lugana 1/1. I actually put a lot of work into the pastels up here. I'm going to bring it in and show you so that you can actually appreciate what I'm talking about, because this hat is really solid pastels. So you can see here I've nearly pulled all of that in without any gaps. And her face is just so good. I love those little sunlight reflections. They're so fun to stitch. And that contrast between the hat and her profile. Oh, perfection. Wonderful charting, Jodie. An unconventional cross stitch. The artwork is Adrian Border, and there's actually a really fun sale on Instagram. Not Border This Sale, BORDA. Kaylee from Kaylee Tent Stitches in there. She's one of my fave full coverage stitches to watch here on both Flosstube and on Instagram. So there we go, Enter the Void. This is a bit of a smaller stitch count than Yes, so they're at about the same spot in terms of target and finish dates and all those kinds of numbers. You'll see it's not as big as on this one. 172,000, I think. I really enjoy working on this one, so I've got the needles flying around everywhere. So yeah, not sure if I'll work on this. I'm actually not sure what my whale pieces will be for the month of June. We'll see what takes my fancy. Especially now after I filmed a Flosstube, I always like to probably work on the pieces that I haven't shown you and kind of do a rotation that way a little bit. But it doesn't always work like that. It really goes by what's just taking me at the time, if you like. You know, stitch what you want when you want. I love that hashtag. Okay, another one. Oh, so I just mentioned that I love following Kaylee, Kaylee Tent Stitch. Another one of my personal favorites is Paula from Contemporary Cross. And this is one of her pieces. And it is Crimson Blossom and Tangerine Sky. Here it's what it looks like. It's my biggest, 350,000, I think. Stitching it on a 28 count 1/1, and there's a sale going, Emmy sale, I think. Emmy Mustonen is the artist of the artwork. This is one of my challenges where I'm stitching extreme cross country. So for those of you who don't know, you pick a color and you complete that color before you put in any other color stitches. And then you pick another color and you do the same thing again, and you just keep going like that with color. So it's almost like a color completion method, but when the big full coverage pieces come out, we like to call it extreme cross country. So I went with the 939. There was, I think, 45,000 stitches, and this is where I'm at now. I've put in another 500 stitches, and this is one of those ones that I do just keep chipping away at. So this is the top corner, and I am proud to say, I'm going to bring this right in for you, that this is the edge and that matches up perfectly. So I'm going to keep working down because I can nearly get this whole side edge in, and if each of these gaps keeps counting out perfectly, then I'm on track. So far so good. I know the risks and I'm not gritting. It's kind of looking a little creepy with all those holes, and I know it doesn't look like a lot, but there's a lot of stitches in there already. I think about 2,500, but I'm not even at 1%. So yeah, just one that I really enjoy just putting in, you know, a strand or 100 stitches or so here and there, and it just keeps moving. Love it, Paula. I'll post it soon. 28 count 1/1, and that's that same linen that I was using for the donor stitch piece, the Alice in Wonderland, together with the next piece I'm going to show you. As actually, like I said, I've got quite a few whips on that particular linen now, and I love it. So the next one is Delphine, and this is one of Kaylee Tent Stitches charts. This is what it's going to look like when it's finished. It is delicious. I went for a center start, put in 374 stitches for a total of 2.42%. So as I said, 28 count 1/1, and if you're a little confused, this is her neck here, this is her chin, and these are her lips starting to take shape, so center start. I'll bring that in for you so you can see the blending that's taking shape to get those skin tones in. So A lot of different little coloured stitches in there already. All my park threads. Like any full coverage, you start bringing it back and all of a sudden you can sort of see something. Well, I can anyway, because I know what I'm stitching. I hope you can too. This is one that I am actually looking forward to getting some more progress on. I stitched on this one at the retreat as well. Michelle, I met Michelle in real life as well, and she's also stitching this piece. She didn't bring it to show me, but she had an amazing piece on the brag table as well, which I also posted on Instagram. So yeah, Delphine, really like this one. But what am I? Only 2.42%. She needs some more love. Oh, this one's exciting. All right, just to give you the heads up, because I can't stand when I eat my last Malteser without being aware of it. I've got 2 more pieces to show you. If you're wondering where we were at in this very lengthy whip, almost halfway whip parade. So there was a challenge that Kaylee hosted on Instagram for the Maxine Gads May. And it was just going nuts on a Maxine Gads piece. I actually restarted my Not Solo. Oh, she's beautiful. She's max color 230 and she's only got 112 stitches. So those 230 colors are being squeezed into not a huge piece of fabric. So it's slow going, but it's going to be worth it. I went for a 28 count 1/1. I did restart it as I indicated because I wasn't a fan of the fabric that I chose earlier. And for some reason, I actually started at the bottom, which is really unlike me. So you can see the start of her top coming in. This is where I'm at. And this is the first of those beads that are sort of coming over her bodice area. I'll bring that in a little closer so you can appreciate the max color on the 28 count. It is, I'm trying to avoid leaving too much confetti in my wake. Now, would you believe that Kaylee, as I said, she hosted this challenge and it was whoever got the most stitches and then a random challenge where her beautiful daughter selected a winner from a cup and it was me. So I think I'm going to get one of Kaylee's beautiful pieces of fabric. And I was thinking about it this morning and I think I've already got a new start in mind for it. So I'll need to talk to you about that, Kaylee. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to that. So to give you an idea of the 112 stitch count on 28 count, it's really not that big. Bear in mind I usually have a 3-inch border as well. So this one is a little smaller than some of them. And yeah, another max color. So it's been quite a month for me with max color and trying to keep challenges. Oh, what have I got there? A big chunk of 939, I think, hanging off. Probably come off of Crimson Blossom. I often just have a skein or a little bit just sitting in each of them. All right, lucky last. You've seen this one before. I'm stitching it for my best friend, Victoria. It's called Ariel. It's what it's going to look like. It's Heaven and Earth Designs. And Anna Dittman is the artist. And this is where I'm at now. I went for a center start and we're on 28 count Lugana this time. So you can see her eye really coming in there now. This is one of her eyes, as is over here. This eye is covered though with, I think it's like a flower or a butterfly. And I put in 223 stitches for a 2.27 complete. There we go. This one's also a little bit smaller, and I have mentioned in the past that this is not actually entirely full coverage, this piece, because the white down the bottom of the chart is not actually charted. Thank goodness, because whoo, that would be some serious stitching. But there's still going to be a lot of purple. A lot of purple. So that's all I have to show you today. And that was a big stack, oh goodness, now I'm dropping things, of whips. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope there was something in there that you want to see again. Maybe you're considering stitching yourself, are inspired to run off and check out that particular designer. Please ask me any questions about any of my whips. I'm really happy to chat. Instagram's the best place to find me, and I'm pretty active over there. Although it has been dropping off recently, I do apologize. Work smashing me, but yeah, Instagram's my sort of daily place where I like to be. You can also find me on TikTok, and I am becoming more and more active over there. Actually, it's a really different space for cross stitching. And I'm really having a lot of fun. I've had a few followers recently too, so thank you if you're one of them. Let's talk a little bit about June before we wrap up. I mentioned that I'm going to get a piece from Kaylee, and that is to start a beautiful chart that, let me tell you the story actually. So if you watch Megan over at Stitching Moon, she is stitching a Design Works kit, Queen of Silk. I have been gushing over this particular piece of yours, Megan, for a very long time as you work, just on that dress. And I actually got a message recently in my DMs from somebody else on Instagram, Catty Sue Cats, with a Z at the end, bringing me to my attention to a particular designer or charter that I really hadn't come across before. And wouldn't you know it, it's the original artist of Queen of Silk. That's what it's going to look like, and I just love it. So I got it as a gift for Mother's Day from Dylan and the girls. Well, from the girls, assisted by Dylan. And I can't think of a better reason than a new start for my birthday in August with this beautiful Queen of Silk. So Kaylee, I think that's what's going to happen. This has all just come to me, mind you, this morning, as I was thinking about filming a video. So keep an eye out for that. What else? I mentioned I was going to jump on board the CXC bandwagon, and I did. And I bought a whole set, and it came in the post, and I have to show you. Sorry for the crackle. Would you look at that bundle of stitchy goodness? Wow. I actually haven't brought myself to open it yet. I'm just kind of admiring the weight and the dense packaging of that beautiful bundle. So stay tuned. Not too sure what I am going to have a go at yet. But yeah, in the meantime, I'm just going to continue to admire it. Any ideas on what your first CXC piece was? Feel free to let me know. I'm looking forward to seeing what you are all talking about, because it's become quite popular. What else have we got? Wheel of Stitches. Let's finalize that. So Angie selected, oh goodness. Oh, my Queen of Anne house. I spun 2%. So 2% will be put into Queen of Anne throughout the month of June, which is very reasonable. Thank you, Angie, compared to last month's. And Alicia chose Pandemic. And I'm very excited for that because, as I said, I really want to move that along a little bit. So 2% on that would be a nice, I think, 1.4 or something like that. So you'll see probably some actual progress on that one next time. What else have we got that I wanted to talk about? Oh yes, in a couple more days, I mentioned that I'm going to be starting another CM and probably my final before I finish. I'd say that, but we'll see what happens because Carolyn Manning seems to be releasing charts by the week, and I can't keep up with the amazing options. But yes, ultimately let's see a finish. I'm going to be starting this piece, Glow Up by Carolyn Manning Designs on the 11th of June with Angie at Angie Slowly Crafts. Really looking forward to this one. It's a little smaller even than Unicorn, so you should stitch up pretty quick, and it's very different again to the rest of the designs that I have. So that will be really fun, Angie. And those colors are just, well, as the name suggests, glow up. Let me just check my notes. I don't want to miss anything. Okay, so I guess I just want to finish with wrapping up my retreat experience. It was my very first retreat. I went along not knowing anybody, and I have come away having met so many amazing people. It was held here in Shepparton in regional Victoria, and there were people that made their way interstate to attend this event. Kelly, another lady, Taryn, that I met, came from Sydney. the love in that room, I just was so proud to be a part of it. Thank you to everyone who made me feel welcome, who came over to have a chat or showed me something, or just, it was just fantastic. There was a smalls exchange that I participated in, and during May I actually had a finish, but I gave it away in the smalls exchange. I did post a short here on my Flosstube about the finish that I did. It was a little out there and I was a bit worried about doing it, but essentially I finished the free chart Strawberry Dreams from Barbara Anna Designs. This is what that chart looked like. I'll put a picture up of my finish, and yeah, go check out the short. I did a resin pour over my stitching onto a ceramic dish, and I'm really pleased with the outcome. There's a few things that I learnt that I would improve, and the receiver of my small really enjoyed it, and I had a little chat to her, so thank you so much. She was actually working on a Vivsters piece. I'm also got a Vivsters piece, Glitch, and her whip was actually one of my favourite in the room. It was just stunning. And then I obviously also received a small that I'd like to show you from someone by the name of Donna, and I've just dropped it with a couple of other bits and pieces, but look at what I got. So I actually want to show you the back first. This is the fabric that's on the back of it. It's a little bag. It is cross-stitching fabric. Will you look at that? I love it. Liba love. Turn it around. Yup. That is so me. I probably should have put up a bit of a warning first. Sorry if this offends you. It doesn't offend me. I love it. It's a little bag. It's also lined inside with the same fabric. And I just want to show you that my mate that I use for my pattern keeper, absolutely, I think it was designed for it. Like, perfect fit. I love it. Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to be participating in the Smalls Exchange again next year. Really fun. I will be more prepared this time though. And probably try not to pull it out 2 weeks before the retreat. But it was a really fun experience, and if you're curious about working with resin, go for it. I would say it was a really fun experience. Couple of other little things that I got at the retreat. These were gifted to me in the Smalls Exchange as well. Some CGT threads. Love these. I'm going to add them to a bit of a collection that I'm accumulating. I got a Silks for You, which I don't own, and so I now do. There was a freebies table, and I added quite a few things to the table and also benefited from the table. And I'm not going to show you everything, but this was one in particular that I really, whoever, if you're watching, thank you. It's my first artisy chart, and I have 3 daughters and I am one of 3 girls. So I thought I would snuggle this one up, and it is Best of Friends. Sorry for the glare. How cute is that? Super cute and very kind of vintage, which I'm quite a fan of lately. So that one might get started at some point. Kelly was chatting to me about how I put it into my PK from my hard copy chart. So that was really helpful. Checking my notes, I think that's about it. If you're still here with me, thank you so much for stopping by and spending some time with me. There's a lot of amazing floss tubers out there, particularly of recent times. Yeah, I'm just really grateful that you've chosen to spend some time here on my channel, Stitch Me Sane. June's not going to be any slower now with work, but I am finding a bit of a rhythm and a bit of a routine, and so are my girls and Dylan and the boys, and it's just a really fun time. I'm enjoying the challenge, and yeah, thank you to all of you for being so patient with me. I'm a bit slow at responding at times at the moment, but I'm here and I'm stitching away, and I really look forward to seeing you again soon. So yeah, stay up on Instagram where I'll post my progress, and hopefully I'll see you all again really soon. So take care and happy stitching, everybody.